that Israel is the only country in the world that still inhabits the same land and has the same name it had 3,000 years ago? According to Israel Science and Technology homepage, found on the brief history of Israel and the Jewish people in 1998. I'll be telling you today about Israel's culture, etiquette, and business practices. I've dedicated time to researching Israel's wide background of history and customs. First, I'll be telling you about their culture. Next, I'll tell you about their etiquette. And lastly, I'll be telling you about their business practices. So let's begin with Israel's culture. Israel has two distinct nationalities, which are the Jews and the Palestinians. According to a year 2000 entry on Israel found on the Countries and Their Culture website, the official language in Israel is Hebrew. Some Palestinians speak Arab, and there's a wide variety of people that speak English. Some of the Palestinians that live in Israel are not Jews but Arabs, and they follow the Muslim faith. The recognized religion in Israel is Judaism. And according to Countries and Their Culture, these nationalities are impossible to disintegrate due to the cultural identity they find in their religions. For the Jews, the Bible is a historical record of the Israelites and holds a strict religious law they follow, and of the strictest are the ultra-Orthodox community. Now let's move on to talk about Israel's etiquette. The Jews and the Palestinians follow a strict set of etiquette laws due to the religion they practice. Few don't practice their religion, so they are exempt from these laws. Their expectations for both men and women are different. According to Israel Customs, Etiquette, and Behavior, updated in 2015 on the website AngloList, it is forbidden for a man, which is 13 and older, to touch a woman except for his wife. And the same goes for the woman. She cannot touch a man unless it is her husband. Again, these behaviors and observances depend on whether they follow a religion or not, and it also depends on the strictness. When you're encountered with an Israelite or a Palestinian, and you're not sure of the way to say hello, wait for them to extend their arm just to be on the safe side. AngloList states that close friends greet each other by a slight touch on the arm or the shoulder, and they kiss each other on the cheeks. Men also practice this, so don't be surprised if you're greeted in this way. Due to Israel having many laws, due to Israel's many laws having a religious background, it is important to know how these observances can affect something as simple as transportation. When trying to get around in Israel, you should be aware of these strict religious observances. One of the important ones to know is the Sabbath. On the Sabbath, according to author Tisipi Barrow 2012 CBN News report titled, "Remember the Sabbath Day to Keep it Holy," it states that the Sabbath day is a commandment given to the Jews by God, and this is their commandment. It says, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor, and the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God." Exodus 20. This is the commandment that many Jews follow, which basically means that 6 days they have to do all of their labor, and on the seventh day they rest and do no labor work. Barrow states that the work week in Israel begins Sunday morning and it ends Friday midday. The Sabbath officially begins on Friday evening. Every Jewish community practices the Sabbath in a different way, depending on how strict they are. Remember that amongst the strictest are the ultra-Orthodox community. In this community, it is forbidden to drive beginning Friday evening until Saturday at sunset, which is when the Sabbath ends. So due to this specific observance, you will find many streets to be closed off, and all the city will come somewhat to a stop. So it is important to know this specific religious observance because it affects your transportation and the way you're going to get around the city. Now let's move on to the business practices in Israel. So Israel has a distinct way of communicating. The business practices that will be mentioned are important to remember, as it is difficult to conduct business with Israelites. According to Anglolist, Israelites are very strict and to the point, so they might come off as aggressive or rude even though they don't mean to be. They speak quickly and loudly, unaware of the social setting they are in. Hand gestures are seen different in the Israelite culture. Anglolist states that when your fingers are opened up like this and you twist your arm at the palm, you're basically saying, "What do you think you're doing?" In our American culture, a simple hand gesture like this can mean your opinion of something. For example, how do you think the food at the restaurant was? It was okay. Or how do you think the movie was? Well, it was okay. So it's important to be aware how such a simple gesture in the Israelite culture can come off as being rude. In their culture, time is very important. Remember, time is very important to remember when you're doing business. For Israelites, for a social setting like a wedding or a party, it is expected for you to be late, half an hour. However, for a business meeting or a job interview, punctuality is always expected. If you're invited to dine in someone's home, you must arrive on time and you must bring the host a gift. You can bring chocolate or a cake, or you can help by making a salad or dessert. So now let's wrap up what we went over. First, we covered some culture, background, including religion. Secondly, I went over Israel's etiquette for both men and women. And lastly, I discussed business practices, including communication and the importance of time. Israel is a culture that requires you to have some knowledge of their religion in order to know what is expected of your behavior when visiting their country. I hope that these simple tips will be helpful to you if you ever find yourself in Israel. Thank you for your time, and as they say in Israel, Todah.